Luio led the evil sky pavilion in a grandiose march towards the outskirts of Golden Court Mountain. While Huuda, gazing down at the beautiful scenery, was about to recite a poem in his flamboyant manner, but accidentally fell off the flying chariot. Onlookers quickly approached to ask how he was doing, while Huuda, with a red face, assured everyone he was fine. He sincerely marveled that the Cloud sect owned 2 flying chariots, one for the sect leader and one for the leader's daughter. However, even combined, they still paled in comparison to the cloud-piercing flying chariot. Luio, hearing this, calmly spoke up, dismissing them as mere transportation tools, not worth mentioning. While Huuda found the term transportation tools enlightening, he then turned to the captives, puzzled why Fan Shian, a mere prisoner with sealed cultivation, was being brought along in their quest for an explanation from the descendants of the 10 sorcerers. Luio smiled slightly, remarking that Fan Shian, leader of the Black Knights and highly skilled, willingly kneeled to him for Molly's sake. The pavilion master implied that perhaps Molly might make concessions for Fan Shian's sake. Luio shook his light beard, expressing doubt. Given Fan Shian's wisdom and temperament, what kind of woman could make him willingly lower himself to the level of servitude, even fearless in the face of death? He didn't seem like a man foolishly in love. While Huuda frowned deeply, pondering for a moment whether it could be witchcraft, Luio responded that it was similar. While Huuda realized as much, lamenting that he had thought such evil means of control had long since vanished, yet they still existed. The flying chariot soon passed through Tang Z Town, drawing surprised cultivators to a halt, curious about which major sect's flying chariot it could be. Unable to discern its flag or name, younger cultivators naturally didn't recognize the cloud-piercing flying chariot. Older cultivators, however, turned pale upon seeing the cloud-piercing flying chariot, recognizing it as Ji Tiandao's from the evil sky pavilion. Rumors had circulated that Ji Tiandao's end was near, and that he was now spending his twilight years peacefully at Golden Court Mountain. Despite being a weakened camel, he was still larger than a horse. They remembered the last time 10 top masters besieged Golden Court Mountain, only to end in a miserable defeat. The cloud-piercing flying chariot did not stop, directly heading to the stronghold of the Witch clan's descendants. Looking down, the rising fog and dark clouds seemed rather eerie. Little Yuaner, surprised, spoke up. It's a witchcraft formation. In the sky-crossing river, this ground-covering fog, despite not being light purple in color, resembled that witchcraft formation in every other aspect. I'm so clever. Pan Jong and Zhou Jifeng were somewhat puzzled, doubting that such a large formation could have been set up in just 7 days. Ming Shirin shared his speculation. It's a simple principle. This means they had already set up this large formation here long before they approached Evil Sky Pavilion. While Huuda frowned, staring down, it seems the one in the palace had no intention of making peace from the very beginning. Luio, still calm, showed no change in expression. Ming Shirin, circumvent Golden Court Mountain for a week. The force primal energy poured in, significantly increasing the cloud-piercing flying chariot's speed, almost several times faster than before. The landscape and buildings below rapidly receded in a flash. Soon after, they returned to the same spot. Pan Zhong carefully observed the movements on the ground. Pavilion Master, I've seen it clearly. Only the area 3 miles south of Golden Court Mountain is fully covered with formations. There are none in other places. Luio nodded after hearing this. The descendants of the 10 sorcerers are not the 10 sorcerers themselves. They can't achieve what the 10 sorcerers could. While Huuda expressed agreement, the 10 sorcerers were accomplished practitioners of witchcraft. However, for the descendants to set up a formation spanning 3 miles is already quite impressive. The speed of the cloud-piercing flying chariot gradually smoothed out. The red-robed cultivators below stopped their actions and looked up. Wu Sheng and Wu Guan's faces showed strange smiles. It's the flying chariot of Evil Sky Pavilion. They still couldn't resist coming. Has the demon-slaying sect agreed to join us? When will they arrive? As soon as the words were spoken, a thunderous buzzing sound came through. The cloud-piercing flying chariot descended slightly in altitude. Luio and Huuda stood at the forefront, gazing down. Wu Sheng and Wu Guan, accompanied by several red-robed subordinates, immediately flew up to midair, bowing respectfully. Greetings to Senior Old G. Luio sneered and looked at them. How is the formation going? This direct question hit the nail on the head. Wu Sheng fell silent for a moment. Evil Sky Pavilion had already discovered their formation setup, but none of this mattered anymore. The pavilion master jests. We were simply following orders and happened to stay in Tang Z Town for a few days. This reply was nothing more than a perfunctory response without any real meaning. Luio spoke coldly again. Where's Molly? Molly is far in God capital. What business does the pavilion master have? I can relay the message. Luio looked at them indifferently. They were not only unafraid, but also sneakily coveting the barrier power of Evil Sky Pavilion while pretending to be ignorant. Truly hypocritical. Before he could speak, Ming Shirin angrily rebuked, daring to target Golden Court Mountain. You're tired of living. Quickly destroy these formations. Kneel down and surrender. My master might spare your lives in a good mood. Wu Sheng feigned innocence and smiled slightly. Formations? I really don't understand. Luio, not in the mood for further talk, commanded Duan Mushing. Since they don't understand, you teach them. Receiving the order, Duan Mushing happily complied and flew downwards with the Overlord spear. Luio then invited Huuda to watch the battle. Seeing Duan Mushing's fierce approach, Wu Shing quickly ordered his lower cultivation subordinates to retreat. The two of them stood straight, showing no fear. Their demeanor and attitude visibly changed. We visited Evil Sky Pavilion with sincerity. Since Evil Sky Pavilion is so aggressive, we have no choice but to defend ourselves. Little Yuaner, hearing this, pointed and cursed angrily. Shameless. Third brother, hit him. Duan Mushing naturally didn't bother to waste words with them. He unleashed the stacking waves 1,000 layers technique. The Overlord spear stirred the surrounding forceful energy, immediately attacking the two. Primal energy intertwined. Thousands of spear shadows densely fell. Wu Sheng and his companion quickly performed hand seals, and a mysterious light purple circle appeared, dissolving Duan Mushing's attack. Seeing his move ineffective, Duan Mushing shouted loudly, "Indeed, they are nascent divinity tribulation realm witchcraft cultivators. Fight again." Growing increasingly valiant in battle, he engaged in fierce combat with the two again. Huuda, observing the scene, praised, "Duan Mushing wields a heavenly grade weapon, facing two opponents alone, truly unparalleled in bravery." Luio seemed not entirely satisfied. Duan Mushing's cultivation has always just begun to unfold its leaves. How long will it take to fight like this? However, such a battle can indeed temper him, forcing rapid growth. Amidst the intense fight, a deep humming sound suddenly came from afar. Looking towards the sound, a dark-colored dragon chariot, slightly smaller than the cloud-piercing flying chariot, was slowly approaching. Low-level cultivators near Tang Z Town didn't dare approach, watching secretly from within their formations. Surrounding the dark flying chariot, at least 400 Brahma Sea Realm cultivators flew in the air. The flying chariot had the demon-slaying sect's flag. "These are all unforgivably evil demons. Quickly hide inside." The dark dragon chariot steadily halted, and a deep voice emerged. "Senior Old G, long time no see." Renbuping, wearing a black robe with a withered face, slowly walked out. This was the leading figure of the demon-slaying sect. Luio recalled his former appearance. "You have aged." Renbuping laughed at the remark, far behind compared to Senior Old G. "Living for a few hundred years isn't an issue." Luio, with deep eyes, glanced at him. "I bet you won't live past today." Renbuping remained calm and fearless. "Senior Old G, don't you find everything here strange?" Luio spoke indifferently. "Let's hear it." When the dark dragon chariot appeared, the battle between Duan Mushing and Wu Shing had already halted. Neither side was injured. Wu Shing then responded, "When I first visited Evil Sky Pavilion, I indeed came with sincerity, but Evil Sky Pavilion's aggressiveness forced me to resort to this strategy to lure you here. Senior, my initial intention was peace, but I changed my mind midway. I only have one request. I hope the senior will hand over the traitor Yi Tianxin from Evil Sky Pavilion to the palace." Upon hearing this, everyone on the cloud-piercing flying chariot exchanged glances. All this for Yi Tianxin, deliberately luring Evil Sky Pavilion? Xiao Yu felt a mix of emotions and quickly bowed to explain. "Disciple didn't know this was a trap. Please forgive me, master." Luio shook his head, indicating it was not a problem. This would have happened even without Xiao Yu. Evil Sky Pavilion couldn't just watch the descendants of the 10 sorcerers steal the Golden Court Mountain barrier. Ming Shireen snorted coldly. "Pa, who gave you the confidence? You and Renbuping think you can set a trap for us?" Wu Shing spread his arms with a smile on his lips. "Confidence? It's right here. The only worthy opponents present are Renbuping, Wu Sheng, and Wu Guan. On Evil Sky Pavilion's side, there's Huuda, Duan Mushing, Ming Shireen, and the profound and unfathomable founder of Evil Sky Pavilion himself." Over 20 red-robed cultivators pressed their hands together, emitting faint primal energy. Wu Sheng and Wu Guan also brought their hands together, and the mist within a 3-mile radius suddenly disappeared. Centered on the red-robed cultivators, a semicircular formation with 10 light purple circles appeared. Having done all this, Wu Sheng explained, "The formation we set up is not for stealing the Golden Court Mountain barrier. That was just a ruse. This formation is called the Ancestors' Great Formation." Hearing this, Huuda showed a shocked expression. "Ancestors' Great Formation?" Little Yuaner clenched her fists fiercely. "I don't care what formation it is. I'll beat you until you can't find your teeth." Huuda shook his head. "The 10 sorcerers are the ancestors. This formation can bestow the power of the 10 sorcerers upon them. That means we are facing the masters of the 10 sorcerers." Ming Shireen quickly looked at Luio. "Master, should we avoid their sharp edge? Does the Grand Master of Evil Sky Pavilion need to flee?" Luio waved his hand, indicating there was no need. "Let me see how capable your 10 sorcerers are." Purple aura rose continuously around Wu Sheng. "Why do you need to do this? Pavilion Master, the 10 sorcerers surpassed the top 10 famous masters. How will you cope without the barrier?" Seeing the moment ripe, Renbuping turned to his subordinates. "Where is the third chief?" One of the subordinates promptly bowed and replied, "The third chief and sword St. Luo Shursan will soon arrive." Huuda frowned deeply. "The thing I least wanted to encounter has still happened. I've always been from Cloud Sect, but now I've joined Evil Sky Pavilion. The last people I wanted to encounter are my former sect mates." Ming Shireen, puzzled, asked Old Hua. "Sword St. Luo Shursan has always been focused only on cultivation. How could he be collusive colluding with the demon-slaying sect. Isn't Cloud sect supposed to be a righteous and reputable sect? Huuda's face reddened, unsure of how to explain. Even he himself had joined Evil Sky Pavilion, so what more could be said? Pan Zhong sighed deeply. Sword Saint Luo Shisan is one of the 3 great sword fanatics, the brother of Luo Changqing. Both of them have reached the pinnacle in swordsmanship, always focused on the path of cultivation and seldom involved in conflicts. Unexpectedly, Luo Shisan eventually became a pawn for others. Wu Xing disagreed with his statement. Brother Pan's words are not entirely accurate. You come from Clarity sect, also a famous and righteous sect, and now you've joined Evil Sky Pavilion. Aren't you a pawn of Evil Sky Pavilion? After hearing this, Pan Zhong snorted coldly. Although I've joined Evil Sky Pavilion, I ask myself and have no regrets. You, the descendants of the 10 sorcerers, have become the hawks and dogs of Moli. Don't you feel a bit ashamed towards the ancestors? Wu Xing laughed. Arguing is pointless. My loyalty to the court is as clear as day and night. Pan Zhong couldn't hold back anymore. Pa, you dare say you don't know who Moli is? Hearing this, Wu Xing's brows furrowed slightly. You, what do you know? Coincidentally, I went to the palace to seek medical help and met the royal physician. I accidentally learned a few things. The others, piqued with curiosity, nudged. So, who exactly is Moli? Pan Zhong spelled out the sensational news word by word. Moli is a man serving the second Prince Lu Huan. Everyone was startled upon hearing this, showing disbelief. The news was indeed explosive. Even Lu Zhou hadn't expected this. If that's the case, then isn't second Prince Lu Huan Dong Xian? No, maybe Moli is the one. He then turned his gaze towards Fan Shian. In his eyes, there was a hint of sympathy. At this moment, Fan Shian's face was distorted, his eyes nearly bulging out, and his lips trembled uncontrollably. His expression, silent and unnatural, burned with fury as he stared at Pan Zhong. Previously, you insulted the 10 sorcerers' ancestors at Evil Sky Pavilion. I let it pass in consideration of the pavilion master. But now you insult Lord Moli. If you do not die today, I would be ashamed to face the 10 sorcerers' ancestors. As his words ended, 30 red-robed cultivators instantly converged, their primal energy becoming immensely powerful. The 10 light purple circles below grew increasingly intense. Ren Buping, seeing this, laughed triumphantly. The power of the 10 sorcerers. Ji Tian now. It seems you can only flee now. The 10 sorcerers are not just any top 10 masters. In the blink of an eye, 10 circles rapidly formed. Lu Zhou's face remained calm, showing no disturbance. This is the so-called power of the 10 sorcerers? Wu Sheng, with the surge of primal energy, began to pulsate, his clothes already torn to shreds. His pupils gradually turned one black and one white. He smirked. There's only one thing I seek. Hand over Yi Tianqin, and I will spare Evil Sky Pavilion. Lu Zhou spoke indifferently. You want Yi Tianqin? Wu Sheng's aura surged again. Yi Tianqin is a white citizen. Why pretend to deceive yourself, senior? Ren Buping, intentionally speaking loudly, said, Ji Tiandao, you've lived so long. Don't you know that white citizen Chen Huang could be over 2,000 years old? Hearing this, Wu Sheng suddenly turned to look at him. His demeanor, eyes, and aura underwent a complete transformation. Ren Buping prudently closed his mouth. The person floating before him was no longer Wu Sheng. The surrounding light purple primal energy completely retracted into Wu Sheng's body. The faint pressure emitted, causing the air to tremble. The chief of the 10 sorcerers, Wu Xian, had officially descended upon Wu Sheng. The surrounding red-robed cultivators simultaneously bowed. Greetings to Lord Wu Xian. Wu Xian, Wu Ji, Wu Chang, Wu Peng, Wu Gu, Wu Jin, Wu Li, Wu Di, Wu Xia, Wu Luo, the 10 sorcerers. Heaven and earth, omnipotent. Ren Buping also lowered his own stance. He clasped his hands together, following suit with a respectful salute to welcome Lord Wu Xian. Upon seeing this, Huuda quickly inquired about the intentions of Pavilion Master Lu Zhou. Although Lu Zhou was surprised in his heart, he remained calm and composed on the surface. I originally thought this formation was for stealing the barrier, but it turns out to be the power of the 10 sorcerers. This means our opponent has become the 10 sorcerers. Such a formidable opponent. Definitely not something a few disciples can handle. Should I still use the peak experience card? It hasn't even warmed up yet. Every appearance of a person with red eyes was greeted with a salute. Wu Peng, Wu Gu, Wu Jin, Wu Li, Wu Di, Wu Xia, Wu Luo. The other 7 witches each possessed the bodies of red-robed cultivators. Faint purple energy burned on their bodies like flames. The leader of the 10 sorcerers, Wu Xian, looked coldly at Lu Zhou. So it's just a junior who's almost 1,000 years old. This tone, undoubtedly that of the 10 sorcerers. Only he could say such a thing under the heavens. Ren Buping quickly echoed, Elder Wu, Chen Huang is very likely to be in Yi Tianqin. Please take action to wipe out the Evil Sky Pavilion. The purple flames on the bodies of the 10 sorcerers grew more intense, and their momentum stronger than before. The people on the flying chariot looked at them from a distance. Lu Zhou quickly pondered a countermeasure. The 10 purple circles were still rising, ominous primal energy. It wouldn't take long for it all to descend. According to the previous situation, Duan Mushing and Ming Shirin could handle Wu Sheng and Wu Guan. To deal with Ren Buping, just a single lethal blow is needed to take him down. The others were just a disorganized rabble, not to be feared. Plus, with Duan Shing and Luo Shisan, Huuda could match Luo Luo San. Duan Shing, being sensible, might not join the battle, but even if he did, at most another card would be needed. According to the current prices of the props, it's still a sure win. But now it's hard to say. The 10 sorcerers appeared temporarily through the formation, equivalent to 10 masters. How could disciples be their opponents? The 10 sorcerers are already deceased ancestors. If the fatal blow card is used without merit point rewards, it would be a waste. That would be a huge loss. This situation is a bit difficult. Wu Xian, hearing Ren Buping's words, sneered. Chen Huang, ignorant. This comment left everyone somewhat confused. Lu Zhou then looked at him. So you are the leader of the 10 sorcerers, Wu Xian? Wu Xian also looked directly at Lu Zhou. So you are the master of the evil sky pavilion, Ji Tiandao. Being ancestors of the 10 sorcerers, why willingly be Moli's lapdogs? Hearing Lu Zhou's words, Wu Xian's eyes suddenly sharpened. As his palms crossed, the violent faint purple primal energy converged and completed. The affairs of the 10 sorcerers are not for you to interject. Saying so, he unleashed the primal energy in his hand. The violent primal energy amplified in the air, eventually forming an energy impact with a diameter of 4 to 5 meters. Seeing the opponent make a move, Lu Zhou remained unmoved like a mountain, for he had already felt that Huudao's primal energy was beginning to fluctuate. Huuda charged towards the purple circle, with the 8 trigrams pattern alternating between light and dark under his feet, and 6 seal script characters radiating golden light surrounding his body. The 6 union seal shield then appeared, reflecting the faint purple circle back. Energy winds overflowed. Ming Shirin and others quickly made a move to stabilize the cloud-piercing flying chariot. Wu Xian raised his eyebrows and looked at him, muttering softly. The Taoist school. Huudao clasped his hands together. The 10 sorcerers are ancestors, and the ancestors' great formation can only manifest 80% of its power with limited time. Being ancestors, why can't you distinguish right from wrong? Wu Xian obviously didn't want to waste words. He swung his arm forward. 80% is enough. Saying so, the 9 witches behind him quickly came to his side, lined up in a row. Huudao was not afraid at all. Pity, Witchcraft is not good at close combat. The casting time is too long. The cloud-piercing flying chariot has enough confidence to leave here. Then it depends on whether you have the ability to do so. As Wu Xian's words fell, Wu Xia, Wu Gu, Wu Zhen, Wu Li, Wu Di, 5 of them immediately emitted a special primal energy around them. The purple flames on their bodies rapidly spread. Wu Xia, ranking last, the purple flames on his body began to spread. He clasped his hands together and pointed to the sky in praise. Wu Di's mouth emitted a strange sound. Waves of sound swept forward, rippling the shaking air. Seeing this, Ming Shirin raised his eyebrows. At this moment he really wanted to turn around and run, but his master still hadn't moved from his spot, without any intention of ordering a retreat. Huudao, floating in front of the flying chariot, was not afraid at all. The 10 of them were skilled in different directions, but together, their power was terrifying. Seeing this, Lu Zhou sneered. I, in my life, have yet to witness the methods of the 10 sorcerers. Now, I want to see the witchcraft of the 10 sorcerers' ancestors. He had already made a decision in his heart. At worst, he would empty the merit points and kill them all. Even without rewards, he could not lose his life. At this moment, Duan Mushing roared and advanced with his spear, babbling nonsense. Utterly chaotic. Let me have the honor of experiencing it. As the big move, Heaven's favor has flaws, was used, in an instant, countless spear shadows whizzed down towards the 10 sorcerers. The casting time of witchcraft is very long, a fatal weakness, but how could they not have protective measures? Wu Xian pointed forward, and the purple circle instantly enlarged, acting like a shield that enveloped the 10 sorcerers. Countless spear shadows struck the witchcraft shield, rippling out wave after wave. This major move was easily blocked by Wu Xian, the leader of the 10 sorcerers. The voice of Wu Di continued, and more primal energy gathered above them, gradually taking a tangible form like a tide. Ren Buping watched the spectacle with great interest, praying, praising, and offering sacrifices all at once. The power of witchcraft was helping them gather primal energy. They want to wipe out the evil sky pavilion in one fell swoop. The primal energy stopped increasing after reaching a certain level, and the sky of purple suddenly condensed into energy, raining down like a purple meteor shower. Seeing this, Huudao's eyes shone with an unusual light. Perfect. I never had the chance to use my strongest move at the evil sky pavilion. Today, let this old bone of mine give it a try. He then swiftly positioned himself above the flying chariot, shouting loudly, 100 tribulations insight avatar out. The 6-petaled golden lotus under him shone brightly, standing on the intertwined light and dark of the 8 trigrams. Creation, destruction, life, death, water, fire, existence, emptiness. 8 seal script characters rapidly rotated around him, and the 6 union seal burst into brilliance, protecting the entire cloud-piercing flying chariot within. The rain of purple forceful energy all struck the 6 union seal, like raindrops hitting a sparkling glass. Forceful energy splashed everywhere, creating ripples all over. Duan Mushing, surprised, looked above. Older Hua sparring with me, never used his full strength. Wu Xian sneered. Futile struggle. Huudao's expression was solemn, forceful energy crisscrossing around him. he understood that his old bones probably couldn't last much longer. After all, the opponent was the powerful 10 sorcerers. Pavilion Master, take the opportunity, retreat. As soon as the words fell, a figure suddenly attacked from behind with a long sword, flashing forward. The traitor of the Cloud Sect, today I will cleanse the sect. Renbuping was slightly surprised. Sword Saint Luo Shisan managed to break through the barrier set by the 10 sorcerers. Duan Shing, you're back too, perfect. Duan Shing clasped his hands in a salute. Subordinate and senior Sword Saint came riding. Fortunately, we made it in time. I have already greeted Wu Xing in advance. This barrier won't confine people from the demon-slaying sect. Renbuping watched with pleasure. Sword Saint Luo Shisan is one of the 3 sword maniacs, Luo Changqing's brother. But Luo Shisan became famous early and earned the title of Sword Saint. Over the years, focusing on cultivation, he was gradually overshadowed by Luo Changqing's fame. His strength is beyond doubt. This sudden change frightened everyone. Only one person could save Huuda. Duan Mushing and Ming Shirin quickly looked towards their master. Luio stood with his hands behind his back, and a faint glow of firefly light appeared at his fingertips. A prop card emerged, but just as he was about to make a move, Huudao's voice reached his ears. Pavilion Master, please step back. Clearly, he was still capable of holding on. As his words fell, the 8 seal script characters surrounding Huudao suddenly doubled in size. Almost at the same time, with a thud, the sword fiercely struck the 6 union seal. Huudao glared and shouted Luo Shisan's name, their eyes meeting like enemies, filled with intense animosity. Luo Shisan's gaze was equally fiery. Traitor. Huudao spoke coldly. I have long resigned from the position of elder. How can you call me a traitor? Luo Shisan continued to mock. You left and then immediately joined the evil sky pavilion. How is that different from a traitor? Enough talk. I am here under the order of the sect leader to cleanse the sect. Ming Shirin, witnessing this, couldn't help but marvel. The 6 union seal is indeed powerful. While resisting the continuous invasion of the 10 sorcerers' purple rain, it can also withstand the sudden strike of the Sword Saint. Luio did not rush to act, still waiting for the most appropriate moment. The 10 sorcerers, Renbuping, Luo Shisan, Duan Shing, and possibly Moli lurking in the background, along with the experts they brought. There were too many people. Blindly using the prop card would only lead to a passive situation. Fortunately, while Huudao was strong enough, Renbuping watched the drama unfold with great interest. The power of the 10 sorcerers was about to be in place, and the decisive battle was approaching. At this moment, Wu Xian's eyebrows raised. Divination. The red-robed cultivators around him fluttered their clothes and responded affirmatively. Suddenly, the whole world seemed to darken. Huudao instantly felt the pressure increase dramatically. Prayer, praise, sacrifice, plus divination. The eroding power of the 10 sorcerers grew even stronger. Retreat. Luo Shisan's sword in his hand transformed into 13. The forceful energy around him surged. Trying to leave? Can you withstand my signature move? As his words fell, 13 sword energies converged, instantly stabbing towards Huudao. The 6 union seal was indeed powerful, but it was primarily defensive. The sharp sword energies concentrated at one point were overwhelmingly powerful. Huudao had no choice but to defend with all his might. The fire character of the 8 seal scripts was the first to shatter. Just then, a thunderbolt descended from the sky towards Luo Shisan with a roar, instantly dissipating the 13 sword energies. Luo Shisan was sent flying backward, and everyone's gaze was suddenly drawn to Luio. Who dares to underestimate the master of the mighty evil sky pavilion taking action? Luio waved his arm and spoke sternly. It's unreasonable to bully the few with many. Renbuping showed a look of surprise. The 8th disciple of the evil sky pavilion, Zhu Honghong, is skilled in the 9 calamities forceful energy, which is not the true thunderous energy. How did Ji Tian now master such pure thunderous energy? Duan Shing frowned. So, it really was him impersonating the Buddhist master. After the incident at the Green Jade Altar, the Orthodox sect had many complaints against the demon-slaying sect. Eventually, they fell out, and the Orthodox sect lost contact with the demon-slaying sect. At first, he didn't believe it, but now he has finally seen it with his own eyes. Huudao let out a sigh of relief. Thank you, Pavilion Master. Luio nodded in response. It's no trouble. Really bad luck. Only triggered the probability of hitting and repelling, not even the probability of injury. 100 merit points gone to waste. Below, the 10 purple circles continued to supply the power of the 10 sorcerers. The power of the 10 sorcerers was still growing. Renbuping quickly reminded Lord Wu Xian, strike hard, time is pressing. Don't give them a chance. The 10 sorcerers also knew that the ancestors' great formation could last at most half an hour, but the problem was that the casting time of witchcraft was also very long. Prayer, praise, sacrifice, all these required time to complete. The 6 union seal was on the verge of collapse under the onslaught of the purple rain. Once the witchcraft of the 10 sorcerers is fully formed, the 6 union seal will not be able to withstand it. Little Yuaner hurriedly came to Ming Shirin's side. 4th senior brother, let me steer. You go and help. Ming Shirin responded immediately and flew up above. After being repelled, Luo Shisan quickly adjusted his state. He then turned his head to Wu Xian. The witchcraft is almost formed. Lord Wu Xian, lend me your strength. Upon hearing this, Wu Xian raised his arm expressionlessly. The primal energy of the purple rain above immediately focused and smashed densely towards the 6 Union Seal. Ming Shirin swiftly arrived above. Dangerous, I'm here to help. Hua Wudao turned to look at him. At this critical moment, you should continue to steer. With the cloud-piercing flying chariot's features combined with the 6 Union Seal, as long as the helmsman is strong enough, leaving the formation is not a problem. By then, no matter how high the cultivation of the 10 sorcerers is, they cannot reach beyond the dark space. Don't talk for now, older Hua. You should feel honored to let me do this. Ming Shirin answered excitedly, and then extended his palm forward. The vigorous primal energy was channeled into Hua Wudao's body. With his reinforcement, the fire character of the 8 Seal script suddenly reappeared, returning to its original position. At the same time, the 8 Seal script characters shone even more brightly than before. The 6 Union Seal also became stronger. The purple rain primal energy was blocked by the stronger 6 Union Seal, and the pounding sounds were incessant. It's just a desperate struggle. Luo Shirshan sneered disdainfully, ready to launch an attack, but then a voice of immense deterrence reached his ears. Do you want to die? Luo Shirshan stopped his motion and looked at Lu Zhou warily. That thunderous energy strike caught me off guard, but after being repelled once, I didn't feel too much power. Is that all the great ancestor of the evil sky pavilion has? Trying to scare me? Not enough. As he spoke, the sky suddenly turned dark purple, and the 10 purple circles on the ground completely disappeared. The power of the 10 sorcerers had fully descended. In the dim sky, waves of witchcraft slowly appeared, with power like black seawater gushing out. Such a level of the 10 sorcerers' power, even an 8 Leaves powerhouse could not withstand. Everyone showed a look of helplessness. The cloud-piercing flying chariot began to shake. Little Yuaner showed a sweat of exhaustion, clearly unable to hold on much longer. Lu Zhou shook his head helplessly. Can't even save a card. He then stepped forward to the space above the flying chariot. Seeing this, Wu Xian sneered. To catch the thief, first catch the king. I've been waiting for you. As his voice fell, in an instant, thousands of purple streams of forceful energy appeared around, converging into a cone shape, all targeting Lu Zhou. Seeing this, Lu Zhou slightly frowned and raised his arm, the prop card in his palm emitting a faint glow. Just as he was about to make a move, a clear cry suddenly rang out from the sky. Waves of auspicious energy, like falling snow, descended, pushing back the purple tide, which then began to weaken rapidly. Everyone was shocked and stood still, looking up to see divine beast Whitesard, surrounded by auspicious energy. It seemed to have sensed its master's danger, appearing above, continuously circling and running through the air. With the legendary beast Whitesard's continuous circling, the sky full of purple forceful energy was instantly weakened and shattered by the auspicious energy. Seeing this scene, everyone was stunned, frozen on the spot. Legends are legends because they possess extraordinary abilities. At critical moments for their masters, they actively release these powers. Wu Xian's face was filled with disbelief as the clear cries rang out. The praises of the 10 sorcerers were completely drowned out by the sound. How is this possible? The 10 sorcerers are ancestors. How can they be resisted by Whitesard? This is more than just one thing subduing another. It's a perfect counter. The power of the 10 sorcerers was greatly weakened. Whitesard symbolizes auspiciousness, and anything it deems as the opposite is evil. Renbuping was also stunned, wondering where the problem lay. Bathed in the auspicious energy, the cloud-piercing flying chariot now radiated even more dazzling brilliance. The 8 seal script characters of the 6 Union Seal suddenly produced a 9th character, Departure. Hua Wudao himself couldn't believe it. He had studied the 6 Union Seal for decades, and the 9th character had never appeared before. Now, under Whitesard's influence, it had emerged. Lu Zhou nodded in satisfaction. Very good. This is an unexpected turn of events. Save me a prop card. At this moment, Duan Mushing's body suddenly erupted with overwhelming primal energy and forceful energy. The forceful energy, centered around him, began to vent, shooting out like blades in all directions. Pan Zhong and Zhou Jifeng were amazed. Mr. Third has unfurled another leaf. The anger suppressed by the 10 sorcerers for half a day completely exploded. The 100 tribulations inside Avatar, along with the 2 leaves golden lotus, appeared in the sky. Duan Mushing's momentum soared, holding the Overlord spear and pointing it towards the 10 sorcerers. Fight again. Seeing this, Renbuping immediately dashed towards Duan Mushing for a sneak attack. Want to hurt Lord Wu Xian? Let's see if I agree. Duan Shing, take action. Duan Shing responded, but still stood in place without moving. Under Renbuping's fierce shout, the 100 tribulations inside Avatar appeared. Duan Mushing of the evil sky pavilion, die for me. From the 7th leaf of the Avatar golden lotus, the faint outline of an 8th leaf could be seen, but as a strong person, he chose to launch a sneak attack. Lu Zhou hated those who resort to sneak attacks the most. Seeing this, he coldly snorted, decisively crushed the prop card. I said, you won't live through today. As his words fell, a golden vortex immediately appeared in his palm. Renbuping laughed scornfully, unconcerned. Old demon, I have been in retreat for many years. You can't do anything to me. 7 leaves Avatar, forceful energy shield. A very strong barrier gradually solidified around his body. The next second, Luio pushed his palm forward, and the golden energy instantly burst forth. Those who confront in battle all advance in formation. 9 golden lights faintly emerged, surrounded by dense seal scripts corresponding to them. At this moment, Renbuping's heart sank to the bottom. The 9 characters true word hand seal. It's the supreme secret technique of the Taoist school. Wait, can I take back what I just said? Luio, with a sharp look in his eyes, calmly stated, no. As his words fell, the golden light burst forth instantly. The 9 characters true word hand seal, each character possessing immense power, lined up in a row. From a distance, it looked like a giant beam of light, piercing through Renbuping's 100 tribulations inside avatar. The 7 leaves golden lotus avatar, like glass, shattered into pieces. Renbuping's body also bore a huge hole. He hovered in midair, frozen in place, his eyes filled with fear and unwillingness. In the moment of death's arrival, he suddenly understood why Zhuo Xingqian died, and how Ji Tiandao had such methods. How could he care about the demon-slaying sect? Renbuping's body, like a deflated balloon, fell towards the ground. Cultivators secretly watching the battle were all stunned on the spot. It was said that Renbuping had been in retreat for many years, greatly advancing in cultivation. Ever since the evil Sky Pavilion killed the second chief of the demon-slaying sect, Zhuo Xingqian, Renbuping had been seeking an opportunity for revenge, even going to the Orthodox sect's Green Jade altar to join forces with Zhang Yuanshan. Unfortunately, he had always underestimated this seemingly frail demon ancestor who could kill him with a mere wave of his hand. On the flying carriage of the demon-slaying sect, Duan Shing hurriedly bowed and showed his stance. Senior, this act was all the doing of the demon-slaying sect's leader alone. I, as a junior, dare not be an enemy of the evil Sky Pavilion. I swear in my capacity as the 3rd chief, from now on, the demon-slaying sect will never offend the evil Sky Pavilion again. If I break this oath, let my fate be the same as this man's. Saying so, he moved like lightning, killing several high-ranking members of the demon-slaying sect on the spot. Those he killed were Renbuping's confidants. In the absence of the tiger, the monkey becomes king. Duan Shing is now the strongest person in the demon-slaying sect who dares to defy his will. His oath was not made recklessly. This move was like killing 3 birds with 1 stone. It not only demonstrated his intentions to the evil Sky Pavilion, but also established his authority and eliminated Renbuping's confidants. Seeing this, Luio nodded, quite sensible. Watching the demon-slaying sect's carriage leave, Sword St. Luo Shursan stood frozen in place, somewhat at a loss. The 10 sorcerers still refused to believe what had just happened. Clearly, the people on the cloud-piercing flying chariot are of the real evil. They deserve to die. They shouldn't have received Whitesword's protection. Then, Wu Xian used the observing spirit technique to check, which can see through the truth and falsehood in front of him. He really wanted to see clearly whether the Whitesword circling in the sky was real or fake. However, the light emanating from Whitesword was exceptionally pure, and even when the observing spirit technique passed over it, there were rainbow glows. It was confirmed as the real Whitesword, no doubt. How is that possible? At this moment, Whitesword circled and soared towards the sky, gradually disappearing from the spot. Little Yuaner, seeing this, felt a bit reluctant. Whitesword has gone back. Huuda nodded. Although Whitesword is strong, its abilities are not unlimited in use. It also needs to rest. Luio glanced at the system panel, and sure enough, he found that behind Whitesword there was a note, resting, and no rest time was indicated. Well, Whitesword being able to exert such power is already beyond expectation. If so, then can Bian possibly wreak havoc? The recovered Sword St. Luo Shursan approached the 10 sorcerers, respectfully calling out, Lord Wu Xian. Wu Xian did not pay attention to him, but looked at Luio with eyes filled with unwillingness. He really couldn't understand why this seemingly weak person had a dangerous aura lingering around. He is the strongest of the 10 sorcerers. If even he could feel danger from his opponent, then this person is truly dangerous. At this moment, Duan Mushing leaped forward, the Overlord spear in his hand striking with the force of thunder. The purple shield began to weaken. Whitesword not only weakened the witchcraft but also enhanced their own fighting strength. The next second, the shield shattered with a bang, and Duan Mushing's spear finally broke their defense. Wu Xian raised his hand and called back the 5 witches, including Wu Xia. Sword St. Luo Shursan also came to his side. The power of witchcraft was weakened. He didn't dare to attack rashly anymore. Seeing this, Huuda snorted coldly, Luo Shursan, you want my life? I'll give you a chance. Sword St. Luo Shursan, somewhat wary of Luio on the flying chariot, said, if you dare, fight me one-on-one. With the 9th character opened, Huuda's confidence greatly increased. As you wish. Pavilion Master, please do not intervene. If I die, it's because I'm inferior in skill. Luio nodded and responded, go ahead. Huuda's entanglement with the Cloud sect must have a beginning and an end, otherwise, this matter will become his second mental burden. The power of witchcraft has already been nearly depleted by Whitesword, the rest is not to be feared. Then, Huuda engaged in a fierce battle with Luo Shursan, continuously moving the battlefield to a distant place. Luio stood with his hands behind his back, looking at Wu Xian. 10 sorcerers' ancestors have stooped to be someone else's lapdogs. I am very disappointed. Hearing this, Wu Xian spoke solemnly. If it weren't for the sake of Whitesword, bastard, the humiliation of the 10 sorcerers scald have granted you death. Ming Shirin, upon hearing this, mercilessly mocked. Stop bullshitting. The power of witchcraft has already vanished, and now you're at most 4 or 5 leaves. You are the leader of the 10 sorcerers, right? Now let's say you're 7 leaves, but can you withstand a palm from our master? Wu Xian, already on the edge of eruption, now hearing these words, couldn't contain himself any longer. His entire body's purple energy instantly exploded outwards. The 5 witches, including Wu Xia, also erupted with energy. Insolence. Mortals are after all mortals. Ants will always be ants. The strength of the 10 sorcerers is not something you can imagine. Pan Zhong, seeing this scene, quickly warned everyone to be careful. This is the spreading method of witchcraft equivalent to the peak of 7 leaves. Without 8 leaves, it's difficult to restrain him. Ming Shirin looked surprised at this moment. Lu Zhou then grasped with his hand, pulling Fan Shian to his side. The head of the Black Knights, once the first on the blacklist, now let me show you clearly. Saying so, his palm, containing the extraordinary power of heaven writing, slammed down directly onto Fan Shian's back. Primal energy shone like stars, reaching his meridian pathways, instantly dissolving Fan Shian's binding power. A skull-like mist with a fierce visage floated out of his mouth, looking at Lu Zhou, hissing and roaring. You again. Lu Zhou snorted coldly, and with another palm strike, sent Fan Shian flying out of the chariot. Your infatuated witchcraft has dissipated, now get out. At this moment, Fan Shian's mind went blank. Who am I? Where am I? Memories suddenly surged and emerged like a tide. I remember now, the 10 sorcerers. Moly, his eyes blazing, he roared out these 2 names, surrounded by mighty primal energy. Like a blazing flame, it burst forth instantly. The massive 100 tribulations insight avatar solidified into existence, the 8 leaves golden lotus beneath it emitting blinding light. Yu Chong and Duan Yanhong looked on in disbelief. Their boss, what on earth did you do? Pan Zhong then scolded sharply. Shut up. Fan Shian was hit with the infatuated witchcraft. The pavilion master helped him to break the witchcraft. Don't be ungrateful. Hearing this, Yu Chong was shocked. Infatuated witchcraft? Pan Zhong nodded. See for yourself. I have studied witchcraft for a while, and those who don't understand witchcraft can't tell anything. Of course, I am also embarrassed that the sealing cultivation method of the Clarity sect was shattered by a single palm. The pavilion master is mighty. At this moment, Fan Shian was incredibly enraged, like a frenzied beast. Those who offend Luio die. As he swung his arms, he used the Taoist seal grand move. Under the enhancement of the 8 leaves 100 tribulations inside avatar, the sky was filled with the afterimages of Fan Shian. The once first ranked on the blacklist had finally returned. His fists wrapped in forceful energy, like a barrage of bullets, enveloped the sky, instantly smashing towards Wu Xian, attacking relentlessly. Pan Zhong and Zhou Jifeng watched, dumbfounded. This is probably the true strength of Lun Luo. After all, he has the cultivation of 8 leaves, hundreds of years of concealment. Who exactly is this moly to have so firmly controlled the 8 leaves Fan Shian? The other 9 sorcerers, seeing this, wanted to support Wu Xian, but at this moment, Duan Mushing swung his overlord spear, blocking their path. Your target is me. Ming Shirin, holding the separation hook, followed closely behind, and me. They both had heavenly weapons. Facing the now 3 or 4 leaves 9 sorcerers, they could barely hold on for a while. But the problem was, there were 9 of them. Even though they were witchcraft cultivators with long casting times, Duan Mushing and Ming Shirin were only 2 people. How could they deal with 9 great witchcraft cultivators? The tied-up Yu Chong and Duan Yanhong shouted. Leader, seeing Fan Shian fighting desperately against powerful enemies, how could they stand by and watch? Lu Zhou stroked his beard and glanced at them. Do you see clearly now? Pan Zhong then explained. Lun Luo was controlled. You 4 brothers were all pawns being used. Now, the one who controlled you is right before your eyes. After the 2 understood the cause and effect, they were equally furious. Releasing you from your restraints. Turning around, Pan Zhong said, and then raised his hand, swiftly sweeping it over their bodies. 2 sounds of pang echoed, and the long-lost power returned to their bodies. Yu Chong and Yanhong exchanged glances, then leaped out of the flying chariot, rushing towards the battlefield. Their joining immediately increased the pressure on the 9 sorcerers. Ming Shirin and Duan Mushing could each take on 2, while Yu Chong and Duan Yanhong each dealt with 1. This left 3 remaining. Although Wu Xian was evenly matched with Fan Shian, he still exuded confidence. Even so, the 10 sorcerers' ancestors were also invincible. Lu Zhou, not bothering to waste words with him, directly took out 3 prop cards. You've overlooked me. As soon as he finished speaking, 3 dazzling thunderous energies instantly descended. Lightning mixed with forceful energy, like divine punishment, immediately struck Wu Ji, Wu Peng, and Wu Zhen. The 3 spat out blood and were simultaneously blown away, with Wu Ji turning directly into ashes. Ding! Killing a target grants 100 merit points. Lu Zhou heard the system's prompt and then shook his head. The 1% chance of a fatal strike, no way around it. You're just unlucky. Using living people to summon the dead, killing them only counts as the merit points of the living. As he pondered, Wu Xian's voice came down. Not much time left. The anger in his heart made him really not want to continue fighting, but it seemed as if there was a voice in his mind resisting. Lord Wu Xian, don't won't self-destruct. While he was fending off Fan Shian's relentless attacks, he spoke. The face of the 10 sorcerers' ancestors has been lost by you all. I hope this serves as a warning to the witchcraft descendants of the world. The other 8 witches responded at the same time. We swear to follow Lord Wu Xian to the death. Hearing this, Luio immediately issued the takeoff command. Little Yuan responded and immediately started to propel the flying chariot, speeding away from the battlefield. Third senior brother, fourth senior brother. Hearing little Yuan's reminder, the 2, shimmering, quickly followed behind. I can't beat you 2, worthy of being the 10 sorcerers' ancestors. A true man can bend and stretch. We'll fight again next time. Wu Xian naturally wouldn't let them go, and purple energy shot from his palm, wanting to stop the 2, but at this moment, Fan Shian suddenly attacked, interrupting Wu Xian's spell casting. Moly, I, Lin Luo, even in death, will not let you off easy. With a roar, the 100 Tribulations Insight avatar swelled up again. Yu Chong and Duan Yanhong reminded at this time, but Fan Shian clearly already had the mindset of perishing together. If you are afraid of death, then leave quickly. The rest, I, Lin Luo, will hold off. Wu Xian, after all, has a time limit, and if he just stubbornly endures, he won't outlast Fan Shian. Therefore, self-destructing the witchcraft is the best choice. Anyway, they are already dead, so they do not fear death. Seeing this, the red-robed cultivators below immediately fled for their lives, but their cultivation was low, and their speed was ultimately too slow. Yu Chong and Duan Yanhong didn't leave. Instead, they flew towards Fan Shian, not born on the same day of the same year, but hoping to die on the same day of the same year. After saying so, they summoned their avatar and stood side by side with Fan Shian to resist. The 8 witches at this time surrounded Wu Xian, releasing all their energy. The next second, centered on him, the energy immediately vented out. A violent explosion with a loud bang rapidly spread outward, like a sandstorm destroying heaven and earth, instantly sweeping in all directions. Scorching flames ferociously chased everyone. The cloud-piercing flying chariot shook incessantly under the impact of the explosion. Little Yuan anxiously pointed to the rear, shouting loudly, Master, 3rd senior brother, 4th senior brother. Luio looked in the direction of the sound, only to see Duan Mushing and Ming Shirin fleeing towards them at full speed. With their cultivation, it was difficult to leave the affected range in a short time. They must wait for them. Thinking this, he quickly told little Yuan to slow down. Luio appeared calm on the surface, but inwardly lamented, the 10 sorcerers are already dead. Wu Sheng, Wu Guan, and the 2 Black Knights, Fan Shian, would have been worth quite a lot of merit points, but they probably won't survive in this wave of energy explosion. Not earning the merit points, truly a loss. After Duan Mushing and the others leaped onto the flying chariot, Luio once again issued the command to accelerate. Delaying some time to escape to wait for them had already slowed down the rhythm quite a bit. The surging purple energy, like a massive wave, was about to engulf the flying chariot. Luio frowned tightly, pondering a countermeasure. Do I really need to use an invincible defense card now? But like the fatal strike, invincible defense is probably a single target defense. At this moment, a dazzling light radiated from an 8 leaves avatar, which, under the push of the massive energy wave, suddenly approached. Fan Shian, inside the avatar, spat out blood, his eyes filled with endless hatred. Seeing this, Luio immediately became alert. Trying to bite me before dying? A mantis trying to stop a chariot. He was just about to use a prop card, but Fan Shian suddenly turned around, placing himself behind the flying chariot. Ming Shirin was surprised. He is helping us. Luio was also somewhat taken aback. Logically speaking, Fan Shian should be at odds with the evil Sky Pavilion, eager to let these explosive energies destroy the cloud-piercing flying chariot, but he chose to help the evil Sky Pavilion. What does this mean? Fan Shian, after all, had the strength of 8 leaves, surviving until now amidst the self-destruction of the 10 sorcerers was within reason. However, he was already seriously injured, and now risking the destruction of his Dantian and Sea of Qi. Performing this technique, he would probably die here. The surging waves were entirely blocked by him. The unaffected flying chariot quickly escaped. Fan Shian, struggling desperately and bleeding from his 7 orifices, shouted, I, Lin Luo, have never begged anyone, willing to die blocking these 10 sorcerers, only asking the senior to promise one thing, help me kill Moly. As soon as he finished speaking, the purple wave engulfed him, the avatar shattered and dissipated. His figure disappeared in midair. Before Luio could respond, the self-destructive power reached its peak and then gradually weakened. The rising purple smoke morphed into a giant human face, uttering a few words, foolish choice. Cultivators watching from afar, shaken by the aftermath, kept retreating. Moments later, the witchcraft power completely vanished, leaving only a battlefield filled with flying dust. The watching cultivators quickly looked towards the center of the battlefield, their vision obstructed, unable to see anything clearly. But it was evident that the evil Sky Pavilion had won. How strong is the evil Sky Pavilion really? Even without the 1st and 2nd disciples, no one can shake it. Too strong. Witnessing this battle, I can brag about it for generations in my village. After seeing this battle, my wife probably won't run away with someone else. Dad, if your spirit is in heaven, you can rest in peace now. Little brat, your dad isn't dead yet. As everyone was discussing animatedly, a green-robed swordsman, arms folded, casually walked past here. This brother, it's dangerous over there, don't go. Yu Shangrong, with a calm expression, looked at the dust and smoke from the battle, and uttered a few words. Thank you, brother. It seems you're late. You missed that spectacular battle. What a pity. I was one of the witnesses. I didn't even blink once. Did you see that flying chariot? It's from the Evil Sky Pavilion. The master of the Evil Sky Pavilion, with a single move of the subduing demon 18 palms opening the heavens, then another strike. Jade Maiden Shining Sun. Just keep bragging. It was clearly summoning thousands of gods and Buddhas, bringing down millions of thunderbolts, scattering those demons' souls. Yu Shangrong paid no attention to the excited discussion around him. Didn't expect the Evil Sky Pavilion to be so strong. The Evil Sky Pavilion's first and second disciples hadn't left yet. How splendid it was. Now, their glory remains. Hearing this, he politely nodded slightly. Thank you for the compliment. Thank you. Is this guy crazy? Just as the onlooker felt puzzled, sudden exclamations erupted from the crowd. The cloud-piercing flying chariot is back. We better run fast. Any demon from the Evil Sky Pavilion could annihilate us. At this moment, most of the dust had settled, and the visibility gradually improved. Luio stood at the front of the flying chariot, overlooking the surroundings. Find Elder Hua. Hearing this, Ming Shireen and Duan Mushing quickly jumped down from the chariot to search. The battleground was severely damaged, and areas affected by the explosion were even more scorched. Elder Hua shouldn't have gone far. Luo Shirsan is no ordinary person. I'm just afraid Elder Hua might not be his match. The 6th Union Seal of Elder Hua has already shown the 9th character. Luo Shirsan's 13 sword energies probably can't do much, just a beating. If I were Luo Shirsan, I'd just slowly wear him down. As the two searched and talked, suddenly a creak sound reached their ears. Ming Shireen quickly approached the source of the sound, and then from a pile of charred mud, suddenly a battered hand stretched out, giving Ming Shireen a huge fright. His legs went soft, clinging onto Duan Mushing, refusing to let go. Damn, this is like a zombie rising from the dead. Duan Mushing mercilessly kicked him away. What a fuss over nothing. Ming Shireen looked at the arm and began to ponder. Who could survive in such a powerful energy field? Could it be Fan Shian? His two subordinates, Yu Chong and Duan Yanhong, don't have this capability. Thinking this, he quickly drew his weapon. Master, this person is probably Fan Shian. He's got a tough life. No need for the master to take action. I'll kill him. Such a formidable enemy must be handled with care. Duan Mushing shook his head disapprovingly. Bullying the weak, that's what you're best at. Seeing him about to make a move, Luio issued an order. Clear it away. Ming Shireen, somewhat confused, heard Duan Mushing remind him, the master is asking you to clear it and see. Although reluctant, Ming Shireen dared not defy the master and could only start digging as instructed. Pity, if I could kill such a strong opponent, who would dare look down on my name in the future? Soon, the charred earth around the arm was cleared, revealing a body that had turned to charcoal under high temperatures, but it was still discernible as Fan Shian. A miracle he survived the explosion. Luio glanced at it and then explained, there is a technique called blood escape, which uses decades of life and essence blood as the cost, draining all power from the Dantian and Sea of Keto form close protection. Pan Zhong nodded repeatedly upon hearing this, but the consequences of using this blood escape technique are severe. If the Dantian and Sea of Qi are damaged, one's cultivation might be ruined. Why would he do such a thing? Ming Shireen inwardly clicked his tongue. For a cultivator, using blood escape saves their life, but if their cultivation is ruined, what's the point of living? At this moment, Fan Shian's body suddenly moved. Surprised, Ming Shireen raised his separation hook again. Master, he's alive, but he's very weak now. It's the perfect time to kill him. Effortless. Heh, I'm best at taking advantage of others' peril. Duan Mushing gave him a disdainful look. Luio, hearing this, shook his head. Fan Shian, who has done evil all his life, didn't expect to end up like this. He made that choice, probably not wanting to die with unresolved grudges. Pan Zhong echoed in agreement. Fan Shian probably wants to see Molly die with his own eyes. That resentment is keeping him alive. Are we going to fulfill his wish? Wishful thinking. Do they think Evil Sky Pavilion is a charity? Ming Shireen said this, then anxiously raised his separation hook, wanting to take action. It's too late. Before he dies, I want to end him with one strike. That will boost my reputation immensely. Duan Mushing couldn't stand it anymore and quickly pulled him back. Fourth brother, the priority is to find Elder Hua first. Ming Shireen reluctantly nodded. Third brother is right. Luio's command then reached their ears. Bring him back to Evil Sky Pavilion. Since Fan Shian is an 8-leaf powerhouse, and he hates Emoli so much, let's keep him. Although Ming Shireen didn't like Fan Shian, he had to obey the master's order. He then mobilized his primal energy to protect Fan Shian's heart meridian. The moment the properties of the Greenwood technique appeared, Fan Shian's breath gradually stabilized. He was then taken back to the flying chariot by Ming Shireen. Zhou Jifeng, standing high and looking far, pointed to the distance and exclaimed, Elder Hua. Everyone looked in the direction of the voice and saw Huuda dragging his weary body, returning through the air, his face full of disappointment. After landing on the flying chariot, Ming Shireen approached and asked about Luo Shisan's whereabouts. Huuda shook his head and sighed. His swordsmanship is profound. I couldn't overcome him. Lu Zhou smiled slightly, but he couldn't overcome you either. Huuda nodded. It was a draw. So, where's Luo Shisan? Ming Shirin asked again. Huuda answered with a gloomy expression. He left. Hearing this, Ming Shirin became somewhat angry. The person Evil Sky Pavilion wants to kill. How could you let him leave? After all, Huuda came from Cloud Sect. Maybe it wasn't really a draw. Considering his fellow sect member, it's possible he let him go. After all, no one saw it with their own eyes. Who knows the real situation? Huuda also understood this point, but he offered no defense. Instead, he bowed to Lu Zhou. Every word I said is true. If the pavilion master doesn't believe me, I am willing to accept punishment without a second word. Ming Shirin, bristling with anger, took out his club. Stop playing the martyr. My master has seen it all. Lu Zhou waved his hand and spoke. I believe you. Huuda, grateful, knelt on one knee. Thank you. Loyalty increased by 5 points. Lu Zhou, hearing the prompt, satisfied, stroked his beard. Back to Evil Sky Pavilion. Then, the cloud-piercing flying chariot quickly left the area. At this time, in the distant jungle, Luo Shisan, panting, leaned against a large tree. So the old man is this strong. I've run out of primal energy for fighting. I, the celebrated sword saint, to be in such a sorry state. Enough of that. To each their own. As he was adjusting his condition, a man in a green robe suddenly appeared. Greetings. Luo Shisan immediately became alert. Who are you? The man in the green robe smiled slightly. I am Rong. Hearing this name, Luo Shisan broke out in a cold sweat. Sword demon. Rong crossed his arms, looking towards the distant flying chariot. It's just an empty reputation, not worth mentioning. Luo Shisan swallowed nervously, quickly explaining, I was carrying out my sect master's order to purge our sect. I have no intention of being an enemy to Evil Sky Pavilion. Rong shook his head after hearing this. You're afraid. I'm not afraid. Not. You are afraid, Rong said, a smile curving his lips. Don't worry, I won't take advantage of your weakness, because you are weak, so weak that it's even a bit boring. So, I'll kill you in a month. Hearing Rong's words, Luo Shisan was completely bewildered. What kind of logic is this? To wait a month to kill someone? People say that the demons of Evil Sky Pavilion kill without blinking. Does this mean I can live for another month? Rong remained with his arms crossed. The voice spoke gently. In my hometown, there is a plant called fragrant blossom grass. It has a very short lifespan, growing in the morning and dying by night. You are much luckier than the fragrant blossom grass. Luo Shisan, filled with anger in his heart, yet dared not to retort. He shifted his body, preparing to leave. You won't attack me from behind, will you? Rong smiled slightly. Don't be afraid. Luo Shisan, hearing this, let out a sigh of relief. I'm not afraid. In my years of cultivation, I have never feared anyone. It's just because the duel with Huuda was too long. I am simply too exhausted. Saying this, he walked away warily towards the distance. Rong then reminded him, I hope you do not forget our agreement. In a month, I will kill you. Luo Shisan, upon hearing this, had an extremely grave expression. In all these years, the person I least want to encounter in swordsmanship is my elder brother, Luo Changqing. I once asked Luo Changqing whom he least wanted to encounter, and he answered, the sword demon. I haven't agreed. What kind of agreement is that? He didn't remember Luo Changqing and sword demon Rong ever crossing swords, but his brother's words were always taken seriously. An opponent whom Luo Changqing dreaded must be no less skilled than Luo Changqing himself. So naturally, Luo Shisan also did not want to face the sword demon. Rong smiled indifferently. My killing you has nothing to do with you. Saying this, he disappeared in a flash. Luo Shisan watched the direction he left, his heart filled with mixed feelings. Meanwhile, inside a room in the Great Flame Imperial Palace, the room was in utter disarray, things scattered everywhere. Molly, dressed in red, trembled with anger. The maidservant outside the screen hurriedly tried to calm her. Please, calm down, my lady. The second prince said we must not have any more conflicts with Evil Sky Pavilion. What else did the second prince say? Hearing Molly's question, the maidservant bowed and answered, the second prince said he would not pursue Lord Jinju's death, and hopes that you will reflect on your actions. Molly paused for a few seconds, then punched the bronze mirror in front of her. After venting, the anger on her face gradually disappeared. Her mood also calmed down. As the Clarity sect replied, back to the lady, Pan Li is still nowhere to be found. There's been no trace of him so far. Since he can't be found, let's make him show up himself. Spread the word about Pan Zhong. Pan Zhong was expelled from the sect many years ago, and now he's joined Evil Sky Pavilion. Will Pan Li go looking for him? What Her Majesty commands shall be done. The maidservant, hearing this, dared not object and hurriedly went to make arrangements. Meanwhile, Lu Zhou and his group had returned to Evil Sky Pavilion. Fan Shian was taken down by Ming Shirin. Elder Hua, you've had a hard journey. Please go and rest. Hearing Lu Zhou's words, Huuda bowed and turned to leave. Little Yuan approached him. Master, you must be tired. Let me help you rest. Lu Zhou shook his head, indicating it was not necessary. He thought about Ren Buping's words during the battle against 10 sorcerers. Chen Huang is in Yi Tianxin, he said, pondering the credibility of this statement. Wu Xing set up the ancestors' great formation for Yi Tianxin, and the palace has been dredging for white citizens' bones for 10 years. White citizen Chen Huang could be over 2,000 years old. Is that really the case? But if it is, Ji Tiandao's disposition, how could he not be at the forefront? Yi Tianqin is still his disciple, being close to the source. Would the palace people benefit instead? Then, little Yuaner helped Luio towards the southern pavilion. The female cultivators guarding the door bowed respectfully as he entered. Luio entered the room and observed, finding Yi Tianqin still in the same old state, unchanged. Chen Huang is a mythical beast. How could it possibly be in Yi Tianqin? Yi Tianqin's breath was faint but still present. Luio then used his primal energy to enter Yi Tianqin's meridians and check, but soon shook his head helplessly. There was no trace of Chen Huang. It's surprising she's still breathing in this state. If only she were awake, I could ask her directly about Chen Huang. Little Yuaner approached, inquiring about her condition. Luio walked out of the room, calmly stating, she's lucky to be alive. Upon hearing this, the female cultivators of the derived moon palace showed excitement. Just then, Ming Shirin hurried over and reported, Master, Fan Shian has been properly arranged. For now, he won't die, but I can't guarantee his future fate. Luio nodded, understood. Also, a flying letter approached Evil Sky Pavilion. It seems someone external wishes to send a message. I took the liberty of intercepting it. Who sent the letter? Wei Zhuoyan. Bring it here. After reading Wei Zhuoyan's letter, Luio raised an eyebrow. The handwriting is really sloppy. He handed the letter back to Ming Shirin. Ming Shirin, while reading, commented, the battle against 10 sorcerers must have reached Wei Zhuoyan's ears. He seems frightened. Little Yuaner, curious, asked, brother, what does the letter say? Ming Shirin shared the contents. Wei Zhuoyan wishes to apologize and atone for the incident at Fish Dragon Village. He will personally visit Evil Sky Pavilion in 2 days to resolve the conflict. Duan Shing, incredulous, said, would he really have such enlightenment? Under strong pressure, some might mentally collapse and seek to atone. But Wei Zhuoyan, as the commander of the 3 armies, how could he easily bow his head? Ming Shirin thought for a moment. Our sister Yi Tianqin's lifelong wish was to avenge her enemy. Duan Shing quickly nudged him, signaling not to speak recklessly. Luio was unfazed. It's fortunate she's still alive. After saying this, he returned to Evil Sky Pavilion and began checking the gains from the trip. Currently, my merit points are at 10,412, and remaining lifespan is 5,992 days. Generally, I earn much less merit than expected. If it's not earned, it's a loss. I now have 8 luck points. Feeling tempted, Luio started a lottery draw. To his surprise, 3 consecutive draws were all misses. Seeing this, he slumped to the ground, feeling drained. Lottery draws like this. If I'm in the mood, I'll give it a try. If not, I won't bother. If I win, it's a gain. If not, it's no big deal. I'll just save the rest. If I need a specific card, I'll buy it directly as long as I have enough points. The Avatar 7-star soul transfer requires 15,000 merit points. Luio sighed after seeing the price. He thought of Yu Chong, Duan Yanhong, and those red-robed cultivators like Wu Shen. Perhaps if he had killed them all, he would have had enough points. But what's past is past. Who can be certain? Better to continue comprehending heaven writing. 2 days passed in the blink of an eye. Early in the morning, little Yuaner rushed to Luio's room door, urgently reporting, Master, Wei Zhuoyan has really come.